This is the Art of the Cowgirl podcast, and I'm your host, Sophie Davis. On this week's episode, Art of the Cowgirl Fellowship Director Jamie Stoltzfus sits down with the 2019 Master Silversmith, Amy Raymond. Hailing from Oregon, this gal is genuine cowgirl and rancher. Whether building spurs or the hottest new piece of jewelry in the Western world, Amy's perspective on motherhood and creativity is sure to please. Join us as Amy talks fellowships, collaboration, and continual learning in your business, whether you're in the beginning or whether you've been an established artist for years. So, if you're looking to become a maker, this is the one for you.
She didn't take it all. She left a little back, so you can make more beauty.
Hi everyone, this is Jamie, and I'm here with Amy Raymond, our 2019 Master Silversmith. Amy, we are so excited to have you on the podcast. How are you?
I'm doing great. Things are wonderful in Oregon.
Good. So we just loved having you at our first Art of the Cowgirl event as our master. Tell us what your experience was like at the event.
I was a little bit nervous on my way down there, but it ended up being wonderful. Not nervous for Art of the Cowgirl, but nervous because I guess I don't really call myself a master more than anything. But getting down there and standing in front of the group and visiting with them and visiting with all the people that want to learn and want to push themselves as makers or as an artist or a horseman or all of the activities that Art of the Cowgirl encompasses, everything just went amazing in my opinion and can just get better and better, I guess.
For sure. Well, I know everything you did was so well received, and we thought it was a fantastic event, and we look forward to next year as well. So
I do too.
Thank you for being part of it. For people that may not know as much about you or that weren't at the event, tell us a little bit about yourself and your background.
Myself, wow. Well, this is going to be really short. No, I'm joking. I live on a fifth-generation ranch in eastern Oregon with my husband and two boys. I have a little silver shop that's right next to my house, and between running cows, chasing boys, and working in my shop, I sit around and eat bonbons and watch soap operas quite a bit. I started being a silversmith 14 years ago now, and it's awesome. It's amazing how much it's changed over the years and how much I can learn and how much I have learned versus what I can still learn. And I guess that's a little bit about myself. Was there anything else that you wanted to know?
No, that's great. I'll ask you some other questions, but we'll dig into that too. So you started 14 years ago.
Yeah.
Who have been some of your greatest teachers and mentors along the way?
Probably my number one mentor that I spend the most time with, talk to 2 or 3 times a week, helps me with more than just my silver shop, is Diane Scallis. She's a teacher for GRS Glendo, and she's a master gun engraver, the most amazing silversmith you've ever seen. I can't say enough good about her. She's unreal. Probably the number one. I have built a bit with Ernie Marsh, and he is a TCAA member and amazing teacher and all-around great guy. I talk to him on the phone quite a bit, and he gives me advice about steel, engraving in steel and forming steel, and like those Art of the Cowgirl spurs. He helped me a little bit with how to sculpt them and how to do some stuff on them that I didn't know how to do at the time. Another person is Jim Baltzar, and he passed away 2 years ago, and I've purchased his shop from him, from his family, and he was a guy that I would go and get help from that lived really close, and he kind of showed me that there was more out there. I guess is the best way to put it. And that was a long time ago. And he was the reason why I ended up calling Diane and getting help and really figuring out that the sky's the limit with this. So those are probably the top three. Those are my
that's
top
great.
three.
I love hearing that you're still always looking to improve and learn more. And it sounds like you're the type of person that probably won't ever end because there's always more.
No, I love to learn. I love to learn from different people, and yeah, I think it's amazing. It's not something anybody should stop. I think you'll plateau yourself, and everything will start looking the same.
So what are some things that you wish you had known when you started out in this industry? I'm assuming a lot of our listeners are kind of in the same line of work or aspiring to be. So what's some advice you can give them or something you wish you had known?
Something that I wish I would have learned earlier, which I did learn as I got older, is to not stop learning and to not be afraid to ask, because my door's open. And when I say my door's open, you're probably not going to drive to Helix, Oregon and come walk in my door, but give me a phone call, video chat me. I don't really care how you contact me. I wish that I knew that there was more people with open doors. Something else that I wish I would have known is to think more out of the box. So when I started, I thought, okay, I'm just going to make cowboy gear. And I really limited myself to building cowboy gear, and there's nothing wrong with that. Don't get me wrong. That's amazing. But if I would have opened my eyes to the jewelry and the other stuff a little bit earlier, I think I would have climbed faster at a faster rate. Does that make sense, kind of?
Yeah, it does, by diversifying sooner.
Yeah. Instead of just making headstall buckles and belt buckles and, kind of think outside the box a little bit more. And I definitely did as I got older, but it took some time.
Yeah, that makes sense. So what is the majority of things you make right now, would you say? What kind of things are you making, and what takes most of your time right now?
Right now, in my career, I make belt buckles, necklaces, earrings. It's mainly jewelry, and it's because that's where the money's at.
Yeah, so there's a demand for that, I'm sure.
Yeah, well, yeah, because a guy's going to get a pair of spurs, and they're going to wear the same set of spurs. Hopefully, if I make the spurs the way that they should be made, they're going to last the guy 20 years. Well, that ring that you made the lady, it's not going to last her 20 years. I mean, it should, but the fashion changes, something new comes out that's cooler, better, funner, fashion changes so fast.
How do you stay current on the market? Like, how do you know what is up and coming? How are you marketing your products? Like, how do you stay involved to make sure you're on the up and up with all that?
I have really cool friends.
Good.
I have really cool friends. My life is like yours. I mean, I'm a ranch wife. I have 2 boys that show cattle and that go places. I'm not at the Denver market. I'm not at NFR all 15 days. I'm not in the middle of Pendleton Roundup walking around with the coolest outfit on. I am a ranch wife. I help my husband as much as I can. I take care of my 2 boys. I walk from my house to my shop. I make things, and I send them in the mail. So nobody sees me, and I'm not in the public 24/7. I feel like you have to have friends out there that are in it. And I have set myself up to have really good friends that see all those fashion things and know what's coming out and know what the coolest jewelry is and know what people are spending their money on, and that's how I find out. I look at Instagram. I look at Facebook.
You have a lot of good gems of wisdom, Amy, that I appreciate you passing along.
Oh, well, you're right. Maybe I should write a book. Maybe it'll be like a kid's book.
For real. Yeah, no, it's not. That's really great. It sounds like you have such a good network and works really well for you being able to produce some great products that people want.
I also think that people need to have friends in different avenues. Like I have an influencer that's a really good friend, and she sends me all these really cool ideas to make, which pushes me out of my box. I have a really good friend, well, Natalie McFarland's a really good friend who's marketing and does all that photography and videography, and that really helps. I have another really good friend that's another Silversmith, the Classy Trailer, and she pushes me to be better at pushing my own stuff and pricing because we're in the same market, and we're not necessarily in the same market, but because we do relatively the same thing, we're both pounding metal for a living, it pushes me to know where to market my stuff and how to put things up online and how to get people interested, because she does the same thing. So I think it's really important to spread your resources or spread your friend group, you know. I mean, my friends they know who they are. They help me. I help them. I think it helps a lot in this industry to have people behind you.
So what are some of the biggest challenges you've faced in your line of work over the last 14 years?
The biggest challenges would probably be to stay current and to know, you know, I mean, I'm a 37-year-old that doesn't leave the house, so I have to know what's going on in the world and how to market my stuff and where to put it and how to post stuff on Instagram. I mean, I know how to post stuff. How am I going to utilize it? And how do I utilize it and not have to go from trade show to trade show and set up a booth like they did in the 80s? You know, when you talk to all the older silversmiths, they went and set up a booth at NFR and Amarillo and Pendleton Roundup and like all those places, so they would have a business, so they could sell their stuff. And that's not how the world is today. Today you market things on social media and a couple other sites, and you know, you can have a business out of your home, and I can raise my kids. And so to stay up and moving in this world, I think that's a challenge. To not let the other makers drown you out. Maybe not drown you out. That's probably a terrible way to put it. But, you know, there's all these young and hip girls that have their thumb on everything between social media and marketing and all that stuff to stay current with them. You know, the Classy Trailers, the Katie Kirschners, Nevada Watt, all those girls have their eye on this ball of marketing and building stuff, and I have to stay current with them. And I think that's one of the hardest things that I struggle with is to not lose sight of who I am as a maker through all this.
I can definitely see that, and it is challenging. It's challenging being the one making the product and marketing the product. Yeah. And it's fast. These days, it's fast. Stuff changes really fast. Social media is fast, so I completely understand that challenge.
I think that you have to embrace technology, because if you don't, you're going to become obsolete. And not obsolete. I'm not saying that there's people out there that don't use it, that they shouldn't use it, or any of that kind of stuff. I'm saying that there's people out there that post, they have a shop update on their website, and they sell out in 90 seconds. Well, Joe Blow down the road that built a bit that is amazing, beautiful, wonderful, and it sits on his desk for years because he doesn't know how to market it. That bit should sell. And I have friends that do that exact thing because they don't embrace social media. I could sell that bit in a couple days if you market it right. And all these young women that have these huge Instagram followings, and I mean, they can do it too. I don't know. That kind of sounds terrible. That sounds terrible.
It's the reality. Awesome. No, I think that is the reality, and that balance of having to embrace it because it's the way to build businesses now.
It is, and it's the way, I mean, Art of the Cowgirl did an amazing job with getting people to Art of the Cowgirl and wanting to be there and wanting it to be the hub of everything Western cowgirl tradition. I mean, you either embrace it and you tackle this social media deal, or you bow out quietly and you leave that bit on your desk for another year.
Mm.
That's the hard part about it. I mean, that guy could bring his bit to Art of the Cowgirl and he might be able to sell it. But you have to either travel or you have to embrace social media. Those are your choices.
Good insight, Amy. So you've brought up your kids a couple times, and I know you and I have related on many levels of being a ranch wife and a mom and working and fixing fence and running a business. So how have you balanced ranch life, family, work, all of that?
Well, Jamie, when you get that figured out, I will pay you a ton of money to tell me.
Yeah, I think I'm going to write a book, Amy. That's the book I'm going to write. Kidding.
You would be a very rich person if you could figure that out.
Yeah, it's tough. It's a challenge, I think, that a lot of people face, especially moms that have a lot of irons in the fire, which you are definitely one of them. I think
there's a difference between I've found there's a difference between a lot of people. There's women that have to go to work. There's women that have to raise their kids. And there's women that struggle between the two of them. Mm. I made the choice when my kids were really young that I didn't want anybody to raise them. I want to be the one that's telling them, no, don't eat the sugar off the counter, or no, don't let the dog sleep in your bed, or, I mean, that I wanted to be the one that was doing all those things. So I made the choice when Ryan and I were younger to figure out something I could do from home and make a little money and raise our kids. That doesn't mean that the balance is easy still. I mean, whether you drop your kids off at daycare or you raise them yourself, there's still a struggle of balance. Everybody lets something go. And I do let things go sometimes. I think I have a weed in front of my shop that's taller than one of my kids. But I think it's important. So I made the choice to do that. And the balance, it happens really good some days and really not so good other days. You just hope the good days outweigh the bad.
Yes, and I'm sure they do. I'm trusting that they do on my end too. So, but yeah, I really resonate with that, and it's just neat to see the choices you made, Amy, and how you're able to be an awesome mom and wife and make amazing things and have a business. It's very inspiring. I
do wake up at 4:30 in the morning. And I come to work for a couple hours, and then I go in the house and get breakfast going and get the kids out and get Ryan out of the house, and then I come back out till noon, and then I go back in the house and do lunch, and then I come back out and work till 3, and I shut my shop down. And then we usually get drugged around by 4-H animals in the afternoon. I think it's hard being a ranch wife just because if the cows are out, you can't go to your shop. I mean, there's cows out, right? If a cow's sick and you're the only help your husband has, you can't go to your shop. Yep. So, I mean, it is hard being a ranch wife. It'd probably be easier if Ryan worked for UPS or something, and we had talked.
Not going to get pulled in.
Yeah, right. You don't go right around with your husband.
Yeah, but it's a good life. So I want to talk about your fellowship, because your fellowship application process is open right now through the 30th, which is very exciting. We're getting some amazing applicants, and I wish I could apply because I know it's going to be so fun with you. But tell everybody what they'd sign up for. If they're the recipient, kind of what you're envisioning that week to look like, what life will be like for a week with you.
So life with me is always interesting because it just generally is. So just to encompass that it's going to be interesting, and then we'll go from there. It will. So what I'm going to do is you stay here for a week. You're going to build a set of spurs. I'll kind of go through the process so everybody can kind of get a vision in their head of what's going to happen for the week. We're going to design and lay out the spurs. So you're going to figure out what shanks we want, how wide a band you want, how, if you want hinging buttons or or California-type spurs or Texas-type spurs or any of those kind of things. And then we're gonna go through and make the parts. So like the spurs from the Art of the Cowgirl, they were more parts than a normal set of spurs, but you're going to get the shanks ready to solder in, going to cut out the bands, you're going to figure out the buttons and build the hinges and build the hangers for the hinges and rowel pins and rowels and figure out how big a rowels you want. And then we're going to go to forming. So we'll have to form the bands to fit your boots, to fit the person's boots, and make them so that they fit right, because that's a big part of building a set of spurs. Is you don't want to build a set of spurs for a lady that wears a size 4 shoe and make them fit a size 10 men's boot. So we'll make all of those parts fit together, and then we'll start putting them together. And putting them together will be soldering, a lot of hammering, a lot of filing, a lot of elbow grease. Then we'll start cleaning them up and getting they just kind of get nasty. There'll be flux all over them and all kinds of slag-type stuff. And then we'll go to engraving and finishing. And once they're engraved and finished, then we will put either French gray or rust treatment on them and put a wax coating over the top, and they should be good to go. So that's what I kind of have planned for the week. I have some really awesome applicants, but we want more.
This is a fantastic opportunity, and it sounds like you'll be busy that week with a wonderful end product, which is exciting.
Yeah, it'll be fun. I'm really excited. I hope to build 2 sets at one time.
Nice.
The person build a set and then me build a set too.
Fantastic. That sounds fun. So yes, for everybody listening, we're taking applications through June 30th. So make sure to go to the website, artofthecowgirl.com. There's a fellowship page, and you can apply right there online. The application doesn't take too long, and then we'll announce the winner by July 15th.
Yeah, that'll be exciting. I'm really excited because I live 40 miles out of town, so they'll probably stay here with us on our little ranch outside of town, and we'll work long hours and put a lot of elbow grease in those spurs, so it'll be fun.
Nice. That sounds great. So I know it's almost halfway through the year, Amy, which is crazy, but what exciting things are on the horizon for you the rest of this year until we see you at Art of the Cowgirl next year?
Oh, wow, this year. I don't really know. No, I do. I've been tossing around. Greeley Hats is going to be at the Angus Convention, and he's asked me to set up a little small booth in his. And him and I have been doing a little collab things every once in a while together, which has been a ton of fun. And I think we're going to keep doing some cool, funky things together. I've sent him some drawings, and so I hope Trent and I can do some pretty cool stuff together.
That's exciting.
And then I've been asked by the Classy Trailer to have a little trunk show in her booth for NFR, and I'm going to do that. And so I'll have some cool one-of-a-kind pieces at NFR at Mandalay Bay. So I'm going to do that too.
Wow,
and other
fun.
than that, I'm going to sit around and watch soap operas and eat bonbons the rest of the time,
I'm sure. Yeah, sounds like between 4-H animals and in your shop and waking up at 4:30, you have a lot of time to do that. A lot of extra time.
Lots of extra time.
Sounds like it. So, Amy, I know there's been a lot of people that came off the event of Art of the Cowgirl and just all the networking they were able to do and the different collaborations they've done. And I know that you have a huge network already, but speak to if you've made any new connections or some more about the collaborations that you've expanded on after Art of the Cowgirl.
Art of the Cowgirl, the event itself, was unreal. for the type of collaborations and connections made and people that I got to sit and visit with and get to know better, not only with the other masters, but with the people walking around too. So I started out the event. I road tripped down to Art of the Cowgirl with McFarlane Productions. So Natalie and I had done other collaborations before, and we still keep doing them. So that was a connection that I started with, and I will continue probably for the rest of my life. Then when I got down there, I got to meet Constance, and Constance is one of the most talented, amazing women you will ever meet. And when I grow up, I'm going to be just like her, although she's at least 10 years younger than me.
Yeah, she's amazing.
She is, and she is a good person inside out. I mean, she's just the whole package. And we actually bred to her stud this year, and just she's a good friend. I went from not knowing her very well to having a really good friend out of this deal, and I think that's worth its weight in gold. I started doing some collaborations with Trent and Greeley hats, and I've done a couple hat pins, and I hope to continue to do a couple of hat pins because I have some really cool ideas that I'd really like to try out on him.
Nice.
And it's awesome. He texts me every once in a while, and we visit and bounce ideas back with each other. And, Kelly Martin and I have talked about doing some collaborations that I think will be really fun and different and funky. And Kelly's got such an amazing personality that is, I mean, that woman is cool as heck.
Yeah, she is.
And so I don't think that you can ever go anywhere without meeting someone that is going to either alter your life altogether or grow you as a person, artist, everything. And I went down there with my arms open and wanting to meet people and wanting to do things and wanting to learn, and I think Art of the Cowgirl does it. Not only were the masters amazing, Riata Branneman was walking around, and she's Nevada's best friend, so of course we had to have this big best friend joke that Nevada was going to lose her best friend because Riata was going to like me more than her. So when Riata was walking around, she bought one of my bar necklaces, came home, posted some pictures of it. People started asking about them, and now I can sell bar necklaces all day long if I want to because of that connection, which is amazing because they're fun little necklaces that you can wear anywhere. They can be dressed up or dressed down, and just me going to Art of the Cowgirl and visiting and joking around with Riata, it helped. So connections are amazing at Art of the Cowgirl.
Yes, I agree. That was a lot of people's experience, and we'll only get more and more as time goes on. So it's such a neat culture cultivated there of collaboration and supporting each other in the industry.
Yes, yeah, and it's a great place to do it.
Yeah, well, thanks for sharing that experience.
Yeah.
All right, well, thanks again, Amy. We'll talk to you soon.
Okay, thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Want to learn more about the Art of the Cowgirl event, fellowship, or masters? Visit us online at artofthecowgirl.com or check out our Facebook or Instagram page. Did you love the music on the Art of the Cowgirl podcast as much as we did? That's Genuine Cowgirls with their original song, Art of the Cowgirl. You can buy it today on iTunes or Google Play.